Hi, I'm Ellen. If this is your first time here, welcome. And if you're returning, I'm truly glad you came back. I was sitting alone in my room at 2 a.m., crying with laughter at something a stranger on the internet had written, when I realized something that changed everything. I felt more understood in that single moment than I had in months of real-life interactions. Here was someone I'd never met, living thousands of miles away, who somehow knew exactly what it felt like to be me. Meanwhile, I was surrounded by coworkers and acquaintances who had never really seen me at all. If you've ever been told your online friendships aren't real, or felt guilty for preferring digital connection to face-to-face small talk, this story might surprise you, because some of the most authentic friendships of my life happened through a screen, and it took me years to stop apologizing for that. This is the story of finding my people in the most unexpected place and learning what real connection actually means. Growing up, I felt like everyone else had received a manual for making friends that I'd somehow missed. I watched people chat effortlessly at parties, bond over shared interests, create those tight-knit groups that seemed to happen so naturally for everyone else. Meanwhile, I felt like I was constantly performing, trying to say the right things, be the right amount of outgoing, fit into conversations that never quite felt like home. The exhausting loneliness of surface-level friendships left me feeling more alone than actual solitude ever did. I had people to sit with at lunch, but no one who knew what kept me awake at night. I had acquaintances who could make small talk, but no one who understood why certain songs made me cry, or why I preferred deep conversations to party games. It was like being invisible in a crowded room, surrounded by people, but completely unseen. Then I discovered something that changed everything. Online communities, where I could just be myself. I stumbled into online communities almost by accident, drawn by shared interests or random curiosity. At first, it felt strange, talking to usernames, sharing thoughts with strangers, forming connections through screens. But slowly, something beautiful began happening. There were late-night conversations that flowed like rivers, ideas bouncing back and forth with people who actually understood what I meant. Someone halfway across the world would respond to my random 3 a.m. thoughts with such depth and insight that I'd stare at the screen in wonder. These strangers were seeing parts of me that even my family had never noticed. The vulnerability felt different too. Typing your deepest fears felt infinitely safer than speaking them out loud. There was something about the gentle distance of a screen that allowed honesty to flow more freely. I could take time to find the right words, to express myself fully without the pressure of immediate response. But of course, not everyone understood. When I mentioned my internet friends, I got eye rolls and concerned looks. People would say things like, "But you've never even met them," or "Online relationships aren't real relationships." The shame crept in. Was I antisocial? Was I avoiding real connection? I felt torn between what my heart knew was real and what society said I should value. But then I'd have another deep conversation, another moment of genuine understanding with someone across the globe, and I'd remember the truth. These relationships were some of the most authentic I'd ever experienced. They were built on choice, not convenience, on genuine interest in each other's thoughts and dreams, not just shared geography. My online friends knew my fears, my hopes, my random obsessions, and the weird things that made me laugh at 2 a.m. They celebrated my victories and held space for my struggles without any obligation except caring. I realized that connection isn't about being in the same room. It's about being seen for who you really are. These friendships taught me what I'd been missing in my offline relationships: recognition, understanding, acceptance without performance. They changed my standards for all relationships and helped me understand what authentic connection actually feels like. Some of these digital friendships evolved into real-life meetings, video calls, and even visits across continents. Others remained beautifully in their original form: hearts connecting through words, souls touching through shared stories. Both were equally real, equally meaningful, equally transformative. I learned that I wasn't antisocial or difficult. I just hadn't found my people yet. It turned out my people happened to live in different time zones, speak different languages, and love the same obscure things that made me feel weird everywhere else. Connection isn't about being in the same room. It's about being seen for who you really are. Some of my closest friends live in different time zones, and I wouldn't trade them for all the coffee shop acquaintances in the world. Distance is just geography, but understanding is a language that transcends space. Your online friendships aren't less real because they happen through a screen. They're just real in a different way. The vulnerability you share through keyboards, the support you offer through messages, the laughter you share through memes, it all counts. It all matters. Your people are out there, probably wearing pajamas and drinking tea at 3 a.m. just like you. They're sharing their weird thoughts and hoping someone will understand. They're looking for the same authentic connection you are, the same depth you crave. And when you find them, you'll realize that the most real relationships were never about proximity. They were about recognition. These online connections taught me to recognize authentic friendship everywhere. They raised my standards and helped me find real connection in all areas of my life. Don't let anyone tell you that digital friendship is less meaningful than analog friendship. The heart doesn't care about Wi-Fi signals when it's finally found its home. Your internet friends might just be the realest friends you ever make. Thanks for being here. I hope this helped, even in some small way. If it did, maybe stay with me a little longer. This next video might help even more.